There we go. Okay, so if you saw the agenda, it's kind of divided into two pieces, and we're going to take a stab at the first part. So some of you might have actual surveys filled out, and some people gave them to me ahead of time and couldn't come. Some people have taken notes maybe, during a conversation or something. Some of you might have it in your head, especially if it's you, because you are also welcome to answer all of these questions from your own perspective. So I took all the questions that were on the survey and I put them, a lot of them are behind you. And what we're going to do is, if you can take some of your surveys, or if you don't have any but somebody else does, and I've actually got somebody who needs their surveys, you can help fill it. And you would take them and read the answer and just paraphrase and put it on a sticky note. And what we're going to do is at the end, we'll put up those answers and kind of see if there are any themes to them and see if there are, just what comes out of those, so that it's not just this group, but it's also kind of the spider web. We talked about that with the other people that we talked to. And the goal of that really is to say, okay, here were these desired results that you guys talked about. These were some. People view every neighborhood positively. There'd be more neighborhood engagement. We have a community where people can listen openly and respectfully to each other, find a way to build up leaders from diverse backgrounds. Youth would have safe spaces to be themselves. And so are some of the things that, because after we do all this and we find out how you guys felt and how people in the survey felt, let's try to find some themes around that. And then these are the recommendations that you all made from our last meeting. And I kind of divided them into short-term things, medium-term, long-term. And it would be great if at the end of this meeting, there might be one or two recommendations or more that this group kind of coalesces around. And at the end of this, you might not be ready to do that either. There might not be. But before we get into the recommendations, that'll be kind of the second half. The reason for making recommendations is that the council is going through budget conversations right now. Their first one is at the end of this month, and then their second one, I'm sorry, they have one in the spring. Their second one is at the end of this month, and then they have another one later in the fall. So if you would have some recommendations that have some budget, needs, then that can be recommended to the council. Some of it, as far as engagement, can come into my budget. That could be for me to say, okay, that can come out of my budget, and we would focus on something that this group might be interested in. But if it's something else, especially like if it's a leadership program that might cost a little more, then that would be probably from my budget and some council budget. So what we're going to do is get out your surveys if you have them. So what we're going to do is you can get on up, and you can spread out. Some of them, if you saw my husband, he was filling stuff out ahead because he was filling some of the surveys that came earlier. Some of those answers are already here. And so we're just going to kind of walk around a little bit. And what we're trying to do, if you've got a ton, and you probably don't, it would be hard if you had a ton of surveys, and I can help if you do. But what we want to do is have you look at what those answers are and sort of write down, paraphrase what they said under each of these. So for this one, it is, do you feel connected to Red Wing? Very or somewhat goes here. No, not at all goes here. Okay? And these are all the reasons. What I meant, I didn't tell you this, was...
So you want us to write the answers from the people?
Yeah, but just kind of, what I was going to do is just have you write like, yeah, I had 2 people who said yes, but I had 4 people who said no. And then here are the reasons why. get an idea of how many people said those. Do you know what I mean? And so for here, I feel respected and valued. Always or somewhat, you just put down 2 people said this and 4 people said this. Now, if you don't have a lot, that's okay. That's totally fine. What we're really looking at is what are the reasons people said that they felt the way that they did.
So we're gonna put everything on one sticky note?
Well, if you, no, it would be one per. One per. Mhm,
Okay.
mhm.
But like if you have 4 people on, it's
Always?
Yeah, just within a 4.
Okay.
You know, like
For
say I'm
reasons,
talking 4 people,
example,
but the
you
reasons,
separate.
yeah, yep. And if you had 4 people say,
Same reason.
you could just put it there. Yeah, yep. Because we're trying to just kind of get an idea. And then here's where we really know about how many people we reached. Like the 2 people who handed their surveys in so far, they were between, in these age groups, nobody younger. And so one of our survey people, I think that was Steve, okay, all his people were white, okay? Because you guys said, hey, we should at least know some of the demographics. So you want to just, but see what I thought, instead of doing this, see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He could have just put number 6. Do you know what I mean? So if Michael talked to 3 people and they were Native American, he go 3. Do you know what I mean? We're just trying to see, did we get a cross-reference or a broad amount of people who we talked to? Does that make sense? These are numbers. I'm going to go like this. 6. Okay? Do you know what I mean? And then here's how long they've lived here. So does that make sense? Okay? Because it's a way to try to get at least from tonight, look and see if we have themes. You don't have to get super, super detailed. Okay? You don't have to write every single tiny thing that they said. But if they said, I don't feel safe in parks. Okay? Put parks down. They don't feel safe in parks. Michael, do you know what I'm talking about? This would be how many we asked on the survey. What's your age? How long have you lived here? And what's your racial ethnic group that you identify yourself with? And if you don't have a survey, I have some because
I have some.
Liz couldn't be here and she handed me these. So if someone would like to
I
help.
have 5 surveys. I have a bunch.
You have a bunch?
I do.
Okay.
So I can share. I have more than
Okay.
I'm okay.
Yes. She said, yes. Okay. So I've got his, I've got it. So, I don't know. Yeah. Okay. I will, yeah, totally. You put those up first, and I will try to, yeah. Is that good?
Yeah.
Okay. And if I wasn't so rusty, I would have brought my music, and I would have music. So if anybody's phone wants to play music, go ahead.
Because I feel like I ran out.
Oh,
Yeah.
do you think that'll work?
You know, I don't, honestly, the truth is, I did it, and I have all wrong this time. On this one. This one. I just leave them this one because I. How many do you come from? These, they send me emails and texts, so I print them out.
Wow.
I read out on those papers too, so.
Oh,
These
okay.
ones, some of them I did funny things, and I did that. But I think people want to say things.
Okay.
Because I have people just writing over and the conversations were not 10 minutes, they're 20 minutes.
Yeah. And so we want to get those, we want to, if we can, those in so we have more detail. But just for tonight, it would be nice to kind of see what the themes are. So if you kind of read them and sort of, yeah, okay, sounds good. Very good, okay, good.
Yes.
Okay, and this is Liz's family, and each one should have,
I think those are more.
Oh,
Yes.
Highlighted.
everything over?
I should have a pen in this. Use this for now, Thomas.
All right, that's
and I'll
fine.
try
Yeah,
to
I just
find
need it
it.
real quick. Thank you.
So we're still in the meeting, and the group is filling out their survey responses on sticky notes so that we can get themes.
I'm sorry, but I can't find my survey on my phone. So I thought this was my
Oh, okay. What
you
could
could
do is,
I guess I could just,
because I'm gonna, these are Liz's.
yep, let me, I'm gonna find it on my phone. I'll find it.
You sure?
Yeah.
Otherwise, if not, I'll just give you one of these and you can write it on a sheet of
I'll
paper.
find it.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. I think it's better to get the answers and we can count up these after. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
If you're having a hard time like counting up, you might not need to count right now. It's more important to get the answers.
Okay.
And if you hand those in to me, I can tabulate the demographics and things like that. Filling it out. Yep.
So I don't feel bad that kids don't people.
Right. No,
It won't go on.
it will not go unrecorded, that's right.
How many did you do? And I know some a lot, but
I'm an
how many?
overachiever and everything. You know, once I see, that's what I'm just going to see. And people are like, this is good, I'm going to make all the money. And I'm like, so that's where it's really good. It wasn't what I expected. And I actually got a chance to.
Am I supposed to list the other?
Oh, yeah, you can.
Yes, yeah, and then sticky them on.
And then I'll have you text those to me also, so I can
I will
do
do that.
more deep dive, but,
we'll still, there's lots of good stuff.
You want some more?
I'm still trying to get, I got my,
Okay.
send me the photos of their things, so I'm trying to go through each little one.
Pizza and burrito.
I did my reading, because they're at home, I said, like, Zoom has set up. They're all ready for me.
Excellent.
Okay. Oh, come on, don't delete my.
They like bars. You want more bars and restaurants. That's why. Just like this, more bars and restaurants. I'm like, okay.
I saw restaurants up there too, and that never crossed my mind. Like not once did I figure that.
I
Like,
get that. Somebody said they need to open on Sunday for good. Actually, the 14th say that they need to open Sunday for is for everything. At 14 April.
I wondered if the tourists were coming on Sunday.
Yeah, what are you doing? Yeah. Exactly. Discuss that and keep the money.
So if anybody is done, if you guys are working, go for it. If you're kind of done, you could be somebody who is picking a sheet, and even though there'll be more sticky notes, you could be somebody who is kind of reading them and trying to put them in some sort of themes. I'll try to do it.
No, I was just looking for more sticky notes.
Oh, I got some right here for you.
Oh, I found this one over here.
Take those two, just in case.
Okay, so we'll take 2 more minutes, and that'll be the best we'll be able to do for tonight. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, we just, try to come and work with partnerships you know, stuff. You know, but it doesn't really for sure anything but like short term is really amazing 2022. It's not just about 60 more seconds, and then we'll get to this next part.
Sure, I'm writing the last word and then I write it everyone. Yes.
I'll take those two. This is love.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not.
Like government, or you need strong resistance to change, or
I think it's things you would change about Red Lake.
Oh, thank you.
This one's your book over there?
Woo.
Well, if you need to, I'll turn around.
Actually, that would be good to kind of, yeah, to have somebody. That is good. Okay, now one, you gotta get a little smile.
Want me to smile? No.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Awesome. Okay, so now what we're gonna do, pick a
Tell my wife.
sheet.
Or Sam, I'm sorry. Sam.
And a sheet, and we're gonna, when you go to it,
I'm
and,
actually trying to I talked to her before I got mine.
and you guys, maybe Sam and, Thomas can take those two, but you wanna take a sheet like the safety one, and you want, there's a lot of, I feel safe at home, Okay, put those all in one spot. See if there are themes to them. You're gonna have some outliers that have nothing to do with anything, but it's good to kind of just review what's in your, and just take 3 minutes, 4 minutes, and try to kind of group them together, and then you're going to report out to us the themes that you found. Like, you want to take that one? Main things you change about revenue? Okay, so what you're going to do is, like, if you say things like, okay, like, this might be all kinds of stuff, lower taxes, lower taxes.
Okay, so.
You know what I mean? And you kind of just move them around
Yep.
and sort of, and you might have a whole bunch of different stuff.
A
Who
whole bunch
knows?
of categories.
Yeah. Oh, this is,
Yeah.
you know what? Let's put yours right here. This kind of a wall is really bad.
Yeah.
So I ended up putting some of them on tape.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, there we go.
Down here.
I do have on my phone. What did you say? I have on my phone. If you send it to us. Oh, right? I'm not going to put it on Facebook. I might. I'm not. Me neither. I'm not going to. Right away. I saw affordable daycare.
And then we're gonna have each person kind of report on what they
Everybody wants something to do with it. It doesn't come out as nice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And good. Yeah. We're almost ready? Yes. Okay. I'm so sorry.
I picked the hardest one. I know. Looks like you're doing it.
No.
Well,
I just thought it was
somebody
you were.
survey.
Okay, 60 more seconds. And then, if you can stand by your board, because you're going to report out to us, or sit or stand or whatever you want to do, because you're going to report out to us what kind of stuff is on there, okay? And I'm just going to write down the main themes. So, to start, Michael, you want to, what's your board?
Feel connected to Red Room.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm just going to put connected. Okay. So what were some of the why they quit?
Well, there was quite a few somewhat, and under the reason examples, I kind of broke them down and just wrote down they felt connected through the events, like events, community events going on. They feel connected through their work and their neighbors.
Events, work, and neighbors, great. Okay, what about was that one?
It was about the same with the not very and not at all. And what the reason people don't feel very connected is a lot of cliques. The expectations to fail.
Explain a little more.
Like with the cliques I'm reading here, like how there was one. People seem to have closed circles and bullies and, bullies at school and stuff like that.
But the expectation of failing or something, what was that more about?
That was, they
That is
felt,
one of mine, I can help you actually. And this was a fun interview. They said it doesn't matter with how educated they are or how good they are at their job. The moment they show up, they're dummies. They don't know what they're doing already. So it's almost like they see you. They say you don't know how to speak English, you don't know how to write, you don't know how to do the job. So almost like you're expected to fail. It's like somebody going in Walmart, they follow you around because they expect you to steal.
Okay.
Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like thinking
Got
that
it.
they're judging you.
Yes.
Kind of.
that's what I got from that as well too. So I got the same thing.
Yeah, I got a lot of that.
So based on appearances, you're saying that expectation to build based on just seeing. Okay.
Like I walked in St. James, I will tell you that myself. Oh, sorry, I said St. James. I'm sorry. Was I supposed? Anyway, long time, but I just walked in there and I have a 25-year-old, so she was kind of moving. We were kind of moving here, so I stopped in to ask for a job, and the first thing she told me was they're hiring housekeepers. I'm like, I actually, so I said, actually, I'd like to manage this hotel. And I responded to that because of the response I got. I wasn't really looking for a job. I wanted to pick an application for my daughter. But the moment I appeared, I am not supposed to know what I'm doing. I have managed several hotels in Bloomington, and I can turn around the hotel. But the moment she saw me, she shooed me to housekeeping. She said, "Oh, you can fill up housekeeping." So I said, "Oh, okay. Do you have any other openings at the front?" "Oh, yeah, I think they're hiring an assistant." It's like,
Yes.
So that kind of thing.
Yep. Okay, so that's actually, separate. I'm gonna put a note there. Yeah. Okay. Good. Any other? That's really a good example.
Or maybe like automatically categorized into a certain.
Yep.
Did you see one? She said, she served in the army and she's normally plain clothes and she goes for another job. When she just dressed like me, they said, go digger, because she has a Caucasian boy husband. They tell her she's a gold digger and say, go get a job. I thought that was really sad. That you walk around and
That's where the bullies and that bullying and insults
that
come
is
in.
bullying, yes.
Right. Really you're saying adults and kids. It's not just kids.
Yeah. At least when I did my surveys and stuff, I won't lie, I didn't do a lot of adults because I'm really involved with these kids here in town. So my surveys went towards the youth. They were all based around 18 and under. There was a couple of 20, older ones, like a couple of 21-year-olds I chopped it up with, but that's where a basis of where my surveys came from. So.
Awesome. Okay, good. All right, so connected. Do we have pretty much some of the?
That's basically, this is
The
this
good
whole
is-
paper and
Okay.
all this stuff.
Okay, the good is.
Because with the Feeling Connected, it's, I go to events, lots of events, great neighbors and kids, I feel my kids like the events, so it's like you said, events, events, their work, their neighbors, that's where they feel connected, so.
Okay. What do we have for the next one, Corey? This is the,
All right, so this is about being respected and valued. So looks like pretty much evenly split between 14 sometimes. Always there was only 1, 2, 4.
Okay.
5, not often. the biggest group feels not respected.
Okay.
The
What was the good piece?
For the ones that were safe or respected, they said they think people listen to opinions better here than they did in the cities. Theft is not everywhere, and respected at my job.
Okay.
And most of the people that felt always or sometimes just said that they haven't either grew up here, nobody has made them feel not respected or valued, just no experiences of the contrary. So there's just
Okay.
nothing really specific that stands out.
Okay.
And then there were a couple that were sort of crossovers that they feel, in general, they feel respected and valued, but they feel there's like a general respect from some for like educators and outsiders. For
Toward educators and outsiders?
like, yeah, to people that are bringing up these issues. So like people that are talking about racism or anti-maskers or whatever. There's kind of, if people are trying to educate the public, there's a group that's like, no, and they feel a disrespect there.
Okay.
Or issue.
Got
A
it.
disrespect to people raising issues. I
I
think is
see.
kind of what that theme was.
Yes, okay,
If that makes sense.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
if
to,
you,
to whistleblowers or whatever, you know what I mean?
Oh.
So it's kind of that, if somebody's, just don't stir the pot, kind of is what they,
I see, and if you do stir the pot, are you saying that,
yeah, then there's a group that kind of
yeah,
comes forward.
okay.
But if you're just quiet, that
You're not.
then everything's, you know, it's easy.
Okay.
But if you do speak up, then you'll get some pushback.
Yes,
So, not that they had specifics, but there's just that general,
okay.
Kind of.
Speak up,
yeah.
yeah.
And the greatest thing, if we're going to the never respected, almost always it was because of race, from a different country, different ethnicity, because of how people speak, people of color are not respected. I've been called trash, N-words, all, so that was kind of the main reasons. Personal experience with schools, police, and business have very rarely, if ever, been positive.
I'll get that just a second. Police, school, and business.
Do you want me to go get it?
No. Corey, keep talking.
Thanks, John.
I can't write these horrible, but give it a try.
Teacher
got it.
Being young, opinions don't seem to be valued much.
Yeah.
Being young, the opinions of youth.
Oh, no voice.
Yeah, it's like, we will make decisions for, it's almost like being black.
That's one of
Being
mine.
red being is like,
Right.
being black and being young is the same. We'll tell you what we want you to do and you're gonna do it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
That one's one of mine. That was from a group of kids that
Yeah.
I did. And I had asked them why they felt that way. And they were like, they feel like when they speak, it's falling upon deaf ears.
I had one kind of like that too, that there's like this, like follow through doesn't happen. Like there's a lot of listening, but the results don't ever seem to, it's like these great initiatives are brought up and then maybe attempted, but then they just kind of, the momentum doesn't stay going. And then other people, it was more of their own, and these were kind of, I don't put myself out there, so they were kind of blaming themselves for not being valued or rejected because they're not making the effort. So that was sort of a,
But maybe they, okay,
you know what I mean? Kind of like, I don't put myself out there, I'm being judged.
It wasn't comfortable for them to put themselves out there.
so just I wasn't given a homeowner's basket because had previously rented. You know, so sort of like a, you know, that's a big deal when you move from a renter to homeowner and you know, make that investment. So I mean, I can see where it's kind of like,
Yeah.
you feel like you,
Thank you.
anyway. And again, so what would help listening, so like disrespect on social media, I don't know where that might go.
Nope, those are good.
Oh, and this is for things that would help be welcomed by generational families, so kind of that, which is true. I mean, it's, if people took the time to get to know new people, not so judgy, don't judge, give me a chance to prove myself, see me as a human being. Great there.
Okay. Yadira, thank you, Corey.
Yeah.
That was great. And I will, what I do is I take photos of these, I take them back with me, I tag them up, so they're more formally out there. But we just want to gather this tonight so we can see what people are saying, so we can also see if what you all want and what people are saying and what the recommendations do they help get to, you know, the results. Okay, Yadira,
I
good.
had a feeling of safety. People feeling safe. It was about 20 people. And mostly all of them, majority, is being at home or with somebody else.
Okay.
Or I had a couple that said when police are always available. Or one said, you know, I always feel safe, not because of police, but because people speak up.
Okay. What others speak up? Okay. And what about the not? Or did you get those?
Yeah,
Was there more?
not safe, it's about 10 people on here, and then, not safe, it was just specific, East Street, they don't feel safe on East Street, and they,
Like the east side, you mean?
Like
Or
East
your
End.
East Avenue or?
yeah, well, it just says East End.
Oh, East End, okay.
Behind
They don't think,
Runnings
Yeah.
by Cobble School, that's what they're talking about.
okay.
Everywhere I walk, being followed and questioned what I'm doing, driving in town, and, you know, shopping at the store with my kids, dealing with racist people, and a lot of them were about the truck rallies with Confederate flags. And when people demonstrate, I get uneasy, protest. Yeah, that's about it.
All right, thank you. And,
I have the love of Red Wing. I can do it from here because
Okay.
there are three things.
okay,
People really like the nature, so the river, the bluffs, the walking trails, the hiking trails. They love their friends and family and neighbors. And then they love the activities of like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get it wrong. The big, what's the music one?
Big Turn Music Festival?
That, yes, thank you, the holiday stroll, and just all the event, and the music in the park on Wednesdays.
okay. So kind of the bigger events, citywide events.
Yes.
Okay.
Native Hip Hop artists down there tonight.
I think all except for two of them fit in those three categories.
Okay, great. Thank you, Sarah. Sam, what did you have?
Oh, I had how can residents help create better,
Residents.
a better
Okay.
Red Wing.
Okay.
Some of them I felt like I couldn't put into a category, but a lot of them were neighbor-based, like caring about our neighbors, saying hello to our neighbors, get to know your neighbor, be a good neighbor. So I think a lot of that falls into the next category, which is stuff like being kind and being friendly, respecting others, lend a hand if needed. And then there was another common one that was kind of seemed like they maybe wanted more events, more neighborhood-based events throughout the year, more events that include Red Wing as a whole, not just certain individuals, engaging more residents and being more inclusive, or having more inclusive community events. And then there were a few other ones like not bullying, learn more about cultures and be more inclusive, stop calling the police on people of color, minding your own business. Get to know you. I think a lot of it seemed like it kind of centered around like getting to know people and respecting each other, but I know there was a few I didn't have a chance to add up here because I didn't get to my surveys, and there was a couple that was like, a lot of the people I talked to felt like they were treated differently for like maybe how much money it looked like they had, or like their income, or felt like they were, and it falls in a lot of those categories too, about being respected, or in this community they don't think they're respected because they don't make enough money.
Okay.
So I don't know if you want to add that to that one, but
Yeah.
there was also one on here that said it was kind of not the same sticky note or advice. It was advice for outsiders, not actual residents. Says I would tell a person of color or their family not to move here. The city does not care about them, and the community is worse. So that would be for non-residents, I suppose.
And thank you, Sam.
So I wanted to add up, I had a big thing from somebody who works in the school, and they say that outside you may feel like maybe there's a lot of respect going on, but there's a lot going on at the school, especially the kids. There's a lot of disrespect to the teachers, actually, to the people who work at the school, and to their friends, but it's almost like there's not, and I don't know that, that's just what the lady said. She said they don't have nip it in the back kind of thing, like, you know, come here, you can do this, there's no kind of serious consequences if one gets bullied or one insults somebody else on the school campus. So they kind of was hoping that the school can also look into that.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Because we're keeping kind of a list of things for community that maybe other groups would want to know, you know, that might not fall in the purview of government, but so we'll put that down. Respect, but across the whole, and uniform kind of. Okay. Is that on one of your sheets too, Charlie? Is that in here?
Yes, it's one of
Okay.
the surveys I got.
Okay, so we'll
Yeah.
see that. Okay, let me type that up too. Okay. Good. Thank you. Government. What can government? Is that you, Charlie?
Me,
Okay.
yes.
Okay, so can you, before you go, because this is what we're going to three
Yep.
green dots. Just like Charlie, we're going to take one more.
Okay.
3 green dots. You only get 3. And you have to, if you want, take what 3 you would for your green dots. Okay? We're gonna-
Oh, no, I have one call from the job,
Oh,
so
okay.
I'm gonna have to go in a few minutes.
So if you want to do the same thing. Charlie, we're coming to you.
Yep. And if you have other recommendations that you want other people to vote on, you can do that. Parents on that.
Okay.
Well, right there.
Choi, we're listening to you.
Me?
Yep, so we're listening to Choi, and she's saying what government can do better.
Okay, so my first line here, they're really talking about essential things like housing. They're also saying, apart from not really having homes to rent here or buy, the money they make at their jobs cannot afford the homes which are being rented out in Red Wing. So they're saying it's not working very well because the rent is high if it's there, but then they make very little money. So
Okay.
Pay rate, and they said that's why they're not working here, or that's why they're leaving, and that's why people are not moving here. And also accessibility to things like daycare, which is maybe somehow the city can help with that so that more people can go to work, maybe bridge or help a little bit with those families who need daycare. And on this one, affordable housing again, I get a lot of affordable housing and buildings downtown which are not being used, but they're just vacant, and then we are suffering. And also land which is not being used, but it's just staying there, they're not doing anything on it, which they think could be built up to accommodate Red Wing people. They also, then I think that's about it on that one. And here they are talking about provide more factual, non-political awareness for real problems.
Oh, provide more factual, non-politically, that's
Yes.
the real problems. Okay.
And then one said political. There's a lot of division politically in the city government, or city in the government here. So they are not liking that, I think. And then I go to schools. They say they need a lot of help with the school. I think school needs more funding, need more activities. Youth needs things to do. In summer, outdoors, maybe basketball, tennis, things which are free. And if we don't have places where we can take our kids for free, they think maybe the city should talk to the Y. Maybe they can open up a day in a week where kids can go for free, because not everybody can afford to pay for the Y. So the kids end up really getting into bad groups and start to smoke or do other things or stay on the computer, on the machines. Hence, obesity comes in, and also they're not really productive, and their minds go to other things. So they think we need more activity for the youth. Also, even for this one says, even for not just the youth, the little kids need a place to go. The parents are tired of driving to the cities and Rochester to take their kids to Chuck E. Cheese or whatever. So some places where kids can go and get involved and feel like, they can still live in Red Wing, but do something. So youth centers and more youth programs, again, activities, daycare accessibility, which we talked about already, better education for youth, alternative as well. We gotta look at kids who are maybe doing a little bit too much, and maybe they need to be in a place which is, like an institutional place, like not institutional, almost like a guided place where they can go in a day and learn something good.
Oh, okay.
Almost like Anderson, I think, but
Like a day center.
like kids can go and make things out of,
Yes.
do computer, but do something which makes sense.
Right. Okay.
And maybe if they show up there, they get an incentive, so they don't roam the streets. Instead, they go to that place and learn better things.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with this one last because it's big, I think. Oh, somebody's talking about having a beach. I think now the way I say it doesn't sound the way I say it. It's a beach. What do you call the place where the sand? That
Yeah.
place. Yeah. Because
Beach.
I'm sorry.
We gotcha. That's how I say it.
Because she was saying, what did you say? I'm like, hey, my time, is used to, And then I'm going to skip and come to this side. They're thankful. That's positives. They're thankful that they shut the truck rallies, and the council. They said thank you to the council for working hard, and please continue. And thank you for stopping again the rallies and for working on equity work. And this one is very happy with the government. And the vehicle noise are bad.
The what?
Motorcycles, like the vehicle, like the big trucks with big,
Yes, okay,
and I'm not sure what we can do about
I have
that.
a question.
Yes.
Because they're like, on this, it's making it seem like that the city had something to do with shutting down the truck rally.
I think they're trying to tell the city what they can change.
Oh, they can change.
Yeah, I think that's what my chat is all about now.
because they did change like the form that you have to, I mean, there was some work done, but with that's a different conversation, so, okay, good.
Yeah, and then down here, find ways to engage with the community. They want to see police having fun with the children, not just arresting people and yelling at people. And somebody said, I have tried everything and they have not done anything. So,
Okay, good.
and I'm going to skip to the little one. Somebody needs good restaurants, healthy food, and they said there's nothing to do around here.
Okay.
And then there is a lot of, they need to have more things to be done on Sunday. Actually, one of my kids, 14-year-old, talked about it. Sundays should be open so they can get revenue to actually put that money back into the community, like have a youth center, because there's a lot of tourists who come in on Sunday because they're off Saturday, they spend the night over, but they don't have anywhere to shop around here. And one says bring more culture things, almost like we should mimic what other small river cities are doing, like Stillwater and stuff like that. Then the big one is all about race. They say
All about what?
about start caring more about community people and people of color,
Oh, race, okay, sorry, yeah.
and change rental laws on systemic racism, and admit racism exists and work to end it. Fix racial discrimination. More people of color, more business. So I think that saying maybe there could be an incentive for people of color to open businesses, maybe. Yeah. And create more opportunities for POC, more culture diversity, ×2, with emphasis, more people of color on city council. So that is kind of a lot about that. And then the police, they want the police to hang out with the children and have something like a police beat, something called police beat. Maybe somebody knows a little bit more about that. Did somebody get that survey? So, and then they're talking about the taxes. I have a few ones talking about lower the taxes, 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 and taxes and taxes. And this particular one says, don't make snap decisions based on the loudest couple of voices. So what they're saying is investigate more on the issue and see.
Yes.
So that is
Listen more.
I just had, because I didn't get to those, I had a few people mention a few different things that weren't mentioned if you wanted to add them.
Okay, good. You can tell that, I need more of these.
Find a
Yeah.
space to write in.
Yeah.
One of the things was...
Wait till, were you done? Maybe we should wait till you're done.
She can wait.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay, but I just thought, okay, Sam.
more resources for people struggling with drug addiction and like more, not just resources, but outlets and procedures for people who are overdosing in our community. And then also banning the Confederate flag got brought up a couple times to me as well. and finding a way to enforce a zero tolerance in citywide of racism, I think is what zero tolerance, I heard.
Okay, great.
I think I only have two more.
Okay, give
Um,
them to us fast.
They would
Yeah,
like
reputation
more
of
city
full
council in
employment.
public.
Only, not
More
going
city
over-
council in public? Oh, more city
Oh,
council
getting
appearance
them
in public,
in
yes.
public maybe, okay. Yeah.
And also new policies on hiring practices
Oh, in hiring practices?
and hiring practices,
Oh,
yes.
okay, good, okay.
I think that's about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we'll get those all typed up and everything so that we document it. Okay, clearly COVID, pre-COVID, my signs wouldn't look like this, but now they do, so I obviously need some practice, but that's all right. So what we're gonna do, and so, all of that is to say, what are some folks in our community saying?
Did we do this one? I just
Thomas.
don't know the word.
Give us like
Sure.
the
I'll give
fast.
you two seconds because I actually have to go,
Okay.
but I just wanted to. So the main things people
What
would
was the topic?
change
Oh.
around about Red Wing. Most of them, the majority is diversity, acceptance, end racism, all that stuff. Few people want to do away with one person do away with the historic districts, open more businesses on Sundays, and somebody even said take the bumps out on Main Street or something, whatever that means. Some of the other issues, mental health, change how Red Wing views people with mental health. Some want more affordable housing and have a better transportation system within here. We'll call this one more opportunity or places for youth to go to. And few people want to lower taxes and no truck meets.
Okay.
So that's what they would change about Red Wing, and I have to go. I'm on call here, so thank you for all,
Thanks, Thomas.
for being here, and I'll see you all soon, and if you need me, just reach out to me.
Okay.
All right, Corey, I'll be
Thank
calling
you.
you.
See you
All right, take
later.
care, everybody.
Okay, good. Thanks, Thomas. Okay, so we have 17 minutes. The next part of this is, and we can just, we'll briefly go over this for a second, but really what we're going to do next is, you've got green dots in front of you, and the idea is to take in kind of what you've heard, what you've looked at, what you've written down, what's in your brain already, and so these are recommendations that were put forth last time. Doesn't mean these are set in stone, but at our last meeting, these bubbled up and came up. I didn't get any other ones from email, but if you have any others that have come up today from this conversation or in the last couple of days, and you want to put that down, I would give a couple minutes to anybody who wanted to come and say, hey, I don't want anyone to put green dots on until I can put my idea down so that everybody can vote. And so like Thomas had this idea of an African American Heritage Festival. Now your green dots, and I didn't say you couldn't, because I know, like you can put them all in one area. If you feel really strongly, I'm not going to tell you have to spread them around, or you can put your green dots where you want. I did separate these by, these are purely my perception of short term, what could happen, or at least start to happen right away in 2021 before the end of the year. The next 2 years in 22 and 23, long term, and Michael asked this question like about the teen center, and I said, why would that be long term? The planning could happen now, but the actual thing of it would take, a lot of funding, planning, partnerships, grants, all that kind of stuff. So some of those are long term because there would be more, money and time and effort planning it. So free play equipment in the bins in the neighborhood parks. Some of this is lower money, lower effort, maybe big payoff, kind of depends on how you view it. I did write this down in case you would like to take these things into consideration while you make your choices. Is your recommendation effective at reaching the desired results? All the things that people say that they want. Would this be effective in reaching some of those? What's the effort and the time needed? It's okay if there's a lot of effort and time needed. If you think it's really important and if you think it gets to being effective, then it's probably worth it. Cost. There might be some things on here that you think, it's pretty easy, it's not that much, and it still could have a pretty big bang. Maybe cost is, effectiveness is something that's high on your radar, and that will factor in. And this is also the ability for government to implement. That's basically, if you said, I want the school district to do X, Y, Z. Well, in our realm right now, what can government help affect? So we can talk to the schools and work with the schools for sure. But if you're making a recommendation to city council, it would want to be something that they can actually affect. So is there anything else in here that you think maybe we missed or I missed that you'd want to? Okay. So, so free play equipment in the bins in the neighborhood parks. That could start out as a pilot program. You pick either 3 small parks, big parks. You try it out, see how it works. Officers playing in the parks with kids, like last summer, that's come up again and again, and how much people liked it. This idea of Welcome Week, it does not have to look just like this, but this idea of events and the idea of not feeling welcome. I was looking at the calendar, and the first week in August is both Night to Unite, which is always the second Tuesday of August, and the 3 days of River City Days are the first Friday, Saturday, Sunday of August. All the same week. So that could potentially be other things where the school and business and other people but you could start it potentially this week, and it could get bigger and bigger and bigger. But what government has is that we always have a big thing at River City Days, and then the police department and city staff work with Night to Unite. So that was an idea that kind of incorporated. But if it's something different, you can also, write something else down. And expand city involvement in the school's flight paths program. A lot of people talked about getting kids involved, and we talked about a lot of different things. Nonprofits and business in the city itself. We have some mentors through the school's flight paths program that's really cool, but the city could help to do more, where we have more kids in city government, more that shadow council even maybe. I mean, I'm just throwing out. So that could be something that happened. That could all happen this, the school one would happen in the fall. Quick medium term is this I literally created this name, Lift Up Leaders. It could be called a billion different things. I'm just, making something up here. But creating some kind of Lift Up Leaders program could be on an annual basis. Again, it's not really getting into the weeds, but it's something that would be pretty sustainable. So it's not just a small 6-month thing. It's like a routine program that government runs to get diverse leadership into city government, but it could also incorporate school, business, so that you walk away from that with leadership training. The digital mural project, I think that was Corey, and so that's something that could involve Arts and Culture Commission, Youth Commission. I mean, government could have a hand in this, and even where it happens, because it could be on public property. Public property, government-owned property. And this is more, when the group was talking about engagement and how we do government engagement, this is, people talk about trusted sources, however that happens, through nonprofits and organizations, through just trusted sources in the community. So engagement, we could have a small team of trusted sources that we pay to work, and we talk about, hey, if Michelle's going to facilitate a group, people may not come, but if somebody else does it, maybe someone will. So are there people that could work in tandem with the engagement people and reach out more and get more people involved? So that could happen in a number of different ways, but this is just adding a team of paid, trusted sources to the city's engagement. A teen center could look at a lot of different ways. That would need a lot of partners, funding, but it continues to come up across all, over and over, including with this group. A neighborhood grant program, this group talked about that. And part that some people at least on the team felt like the leaders needed to become leaders a little bit before this happened. You might not agree, so I'm not really asking you to vote on whether you agree with the time, the timing. If you think one of these belongs over here or here, that's okay, we can have that conversation after. It's more just the idea. What ideas rise to the top for you? And then this idea of an indoor park for families. And that could be using a building that we already have, doesn't mean we need to put something new. And then Thomas added, another recommendation is to have an African American Heritage Festival. We have the Hispanic Heritage Festival, and so does anyone have any questions, or, yes, Charlotte?
The neighborhood grant program, what is that grant for?
So that would be, the short version is that government would put aside a certain amount of money in the budget, and it could start small and it could get bigger. And you have neighborhoods come together and fill out they come up with an idea that they might want to do in the neighborhood. Fix a trail, do something cool in the park, add something to a park and bring something back. You know what I mean? And there are some examples of those. Sometimes it is that they mark down the amount of volunteer work, and then the city matches how many hours volunteer, and then they put that money in and they get something for the neighborhood. So, and I think the idea when the group was talking last time was this would be great, except that there might be some really good ideas that come up from people who don't feel like they, we have to find a way to really get to people. Do you know what I mean? So all of those details would happen. And this isn't saying anything is going to happen right now or not, but out of these things that you have come up with, what are the things that you would want to really be on council's radar? These are things that should happen in our community. What questions do you have before we?
Can I finish all this because I'm just wondering, I just have to put one.
You only get 3, but you could put 3 on one thing if you want. Do you know what I mean? You can put your 3 wherever you want. Sam?
I just have maybe 2 or 3 questions. The first one for the welcome week, because last meeting I had to leave early.
Oh, and then,
So if you could just maybe comment a little bit, like, who funds the city, who funds that? What is welcome week? Those are already in welcome week?
so
The River City Days and Night Unite and...
yeah, so 19 Unite is right now a police department thing that they gather all these boxes together. Yeah, but could it be more? And we have a map that shows all the different neighborhoods that do it, and we also have a map that shows where nobody's doing it. So would the city then spend some time trying to get other neighborhoods to do Night to Unite? And is there maybe a focus on welcoming? Are you a welcomer, or are you someone who feels like you would like to be welcomed, whether you just moved here and you've been here 10 years or something? And same with River City Days, we do a big booth and stuff but we wouldn't be able to revamp all of it.
So I know there's a lot of for River City Days, there's a whole bunch of different activities. Who funds, is it just random, sponsors that for instance, the karaoke contest,
Those are all, yes, different. It's actually done by the chamber, is the core group. The Chamber of Commerce runs it. But yep, the city does, they mostly help. They set it up, take down, and then we have a big booth. But
So I like Thomas's idea about the African American Heritage Fest, simply because I feel like River City Days attracts only certain people. The music, the booths, there's just many things. So I think that if we could maybe me and Thomas could collaborate on another idea, but I was thinking like a block party celebrating diversity in all, where it's going to attract people who are probably not attracted to River City Days.
so what this could be is, instead of calling it this, I think I hear what you're saying.
Either
This would
add
be-
to River City Days or have a whole separate thing like Thomas suggested.
Yes, a focus. Yep.
For instance, attended the karaoke contest a few times, and I have not heard much besides country, rock music. People choose to sing. Like, I think it would be cool to do like rap battles or battle of the bands type thing at some type of festival or River City Days where you're going to attract different crowds of people instead of middle-aged, wealthy people.
Yep.
For me, it'd be really cool to see it, like at River City Days, to
Different
start getting
communities.
this interaction. Because I think otherwise we're still gonna have silos. So if we can
Where it's
get it there, it would
separated,
be cool.
That's why I said
Because there's a lot of people-
collaborative with Thomas
Yeah.
or
And it makes,
that.
I mean, if the more people that are there, I mean, at times it has been a really fun event, and then at times it's been really depressing to me. Just like, oh my gosh, this is so painful.
Oh, at River City
Yeah,
Days.
you know what I mean? Because it goes through cycles. But it would be, it's a great way where you could meet a lot of people if we could get that spark and that energy. I know.
Adding different activities.
And again,
to
especially
that.
for like the youth, because then like the young people that are there are getting exposed to more things, which is
Right.
like I think when my kids were young, how awesome that would have been to have something like that.
Yeah.
Because are you saying, Corey, are you kind of saying, but tell me if I'm wrong, if you have something like this, incorporate it into something where people are already coming, you might grab
Like
some
the
people.
battle of
who
the bands
might-
kind of thing, or what I mean, a lot of those ideas I think would be awesome if they could work into that.
I think that's.
But there could be
So
two.
I think-
Yeah.
I think
I-
that both, incorporating both.
I think they're quite all.
Whether we have different kind of booths for Native American beading, you know, people who bead, like, so you could do that during Welcome Week, but you could also do that at like a block party celebrating diversity as a whole.
Yes.
I feel like what you're
Is that-
saying
I
is
don't-
its
I feel like
own
I'm
thing.
not expressing it well enough.
No, I know what you're saying. I think I'm trying to figure out a good way to.
A few meetings ago, you and I, Michael and Juan were together, and there was a discussion of having like cultural parties where people could learn about the cultures of everyone who lives in Red Wing. And so having a block party of, like in this block you learn about this culture and their heritage, and then you go to this block, I don't know. But like having that piece in there.
Yeah, I was also, and I'm trying to hear what you're saying, but I hear two things. I'm thinking, one, we need to have, on River City Days, we need to have a booth. We should, if we had a booth where this African thing can happen over there and the music can be playing, which is differently and maybe hyper and maybe kind of more fun, or for me it's more fun. But I think we should have our day. I mean,
I agree too. I
Like
wasn't
separate day.
trying to diminish that. I was thinking,
have a little bit
do
of
add
that.
something to
Yeah.
Welcome Week as
Yes.
well. But also I just
But that's the
was
scene.
throwing ideas out there because I
Oh.
think what you were saying too about if having a separate day might be attracting certain people who might already be interested, but you're not attracting people who
The rest of the people.
But that's how I feel about River City Days. I'm not attracted to that, and neither are the youth anymore because they go there, you go to a tent with a bunch of old people drinking beer.
Yeah.
Where can the youth have a tent to listen to their music and have a DJ? Like,
Is it? And I'm not
I
sure
don't know. I
about
just
this,
think
but
there's so many opportunities for River City Days to get bigger and better, but also we could maybe just start a whole new thing.
But isn't that the River City Days, people, you can just pay money and have a tent and have this thing? And I've been there for basketball and my kids don't want to stay. You know,
Yeah.
they want to go home. So I've been there for the 3-on-3 and right after they beat each other, you know, we go home. So can't we, isn't it something like you pay for a booth and you take your,
That's what I'd like to know too, is
Yes.
like, how do you, say I had my own little business where I made jewelry or something, because I know that people said food stuff. Do I have to pay to be there?
I think that
Do I have to be
that
approved to be
is,
there? Can I just bring a table and
I think you have to register.
sit down
with
and
the chamber.
say hi to everyone?
I just received my thing in the mail for work, and it was more money than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, why is that? I'm curious. I might have my own little thing going on and that I can't afford to get myself up there.
right,
Along with maybe my
So-
neighbor can't afford to do this.
exactly.
How can we make it more
That could
affordable?
be a conversation with the brand
There's so many things people
Michelle
can't
Larson.
advertise and
And she
do.
just came in.
So
Patty Brown just retired, and Marshall Larson just came in. It'd be really interesting to see,
Yeah, and we can have it, I think.
because she might, you know, I mean, when
Michael
people
can
come in,
flip some wings over there, you know.
different, you know, just to add to. So, and that's a great yes. And yes.
I know, it's.
Yeah, no, I was not
But
trying to
it can be
diminish that, because I
It
think
doesn't
that
have
we
to
can
be
do
just one.
both.
Right.
I just think that
Right.
I really like the idea of a block party too, where
Yeah.
you can have a whole, instead of a karaoke contest at River City Days, you can maybe have a battle of bands or a rap battle or.
Yeah.
I don't know,
And you
so
see
many
that,
different
so it
things
could be,
as
so
far
you're
as
saying
in
this
the music
and
stuff.
separate.
Yes.
Okay, so does this get at, because I know you mentioned also like block party, which would be different cultures, learning different, whether it's, someone earlier brought up different games, the different, you know, or different music, foods, sports,
yes.
yeah. So, which could be either two, you know.
They did one when I was really young, and I still remember it. And it was like the most fun thing as a kid. Like, it's my favorite memory of Red Wing.
Battle.
No, they did like this like culture fest thing.
Oh.
And it was when they first built the Biederman, in that the area behind like Mandy's.
Oh, yes.
There
The
was,
Jordan
like, this
Court area.
It was incredible. It was like world class architecture, and like the art was back there, and there were all these booths, all these different cultures from like, because then there was we had a lot of Vietnamese in town for like a period of time, because Red Wing had sponsored a bunch of people that were escaping the hostilities there, and it was like as a kid, it was like, wow, this is cool.
So it's
But then all
almost
that
like a
fast
third,
just
it's
seemed-
almost a third thing.
It was.
You know, it's more like a whole
It was like the Hispanic Heritage Fest, but it had like different cultures in it, and it was like, I still remember like how the food was.
So I was like
Yeah,
that.
that's like
Yeah.
cool.
Like it's, well, I don't know what we would call it. You're probably better at naming things than I am, but.
Or what would you call that?
What would you say, Sam?
It was like
I think the Roman Catholic do it in church. So, you know, I know they do it in church, even like
So is
in
it different
churches, they do
cultures?
it
Is that what you're saying,
where
though?
different cultures bring in
Cultural
different food,
heritage
different
fest.
clothing, different stuff, something like that. I would be interested.
And I mean, I think there was some of the old school too, because like the Sons of Norway or whatever was there, and some of the. They had
we're gonna
dances.
Could that be done in a park, or it has to be like who gets that? How do you use a park? That one, the central park?
You
have
just
to
fill out
get
a,
permission?
you just fill out a request.
How you use a park? There, fill
Because I
out.
have love the Hispanic heritage.
Oh, it's really nice.
No, it's just like, that's like the kind of energy that's.
We've been talking actually, what's her name? Kara, I can't talk today. We're talking about it today about, you know, how we should do something like that.
Okay.
I mean, it would be fun to have like different stages or.
Yeah,
Like
that's what I'm
even-
thinking.
I
So
know.
like during River City Days, or even if you've got a show a separate day for it, or a weekend for, or, you know, it was just a thought. My other question was the neighborhood contests. If you have more information on that, could we do a city-wide contest? Like
Yeah.
once every so often was it, I don't know. I guess I don't. But different types of contests for people that might be like excel at one thing or have interest in, whether it's like a medallion hunt or.
That's something one of my was that too, this
Yeah,
like a
like
treasure
that.
hunt or scavenger
Yeah.
hunt or.
Scavenger hunts or,
Didn't the Nature Center just do that? They did,
I think they're really cool, but
Yeah.
you can do so many different things with that, with like as far as what people are good at, like you can do it
They
like
did, like-
nature, you
They
can do
did
it like a
architecture,
web.
like architecture ones they've done.
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, like,
So kind of citywide things that if you live in Red Wing, this is
Yeah.
for you.
Because
This
some of
is
us, we don't have
fun.
neighborhoods, so we are left out.
What's that?
I said, yes, because some of us, we don't belong to
Oh,
A neighbor.
Or,
I mean, you know what I mean?
yeah, like if you live outside.
Like in the bush?
countries
Yeah.
or-
Yeah, because my kids were asking, Mom, the police drove by my friend's house during COVID, you know? Nobody came to my house, and my kids were outside like looking for the police. Nobody showed up, and I'm like, I'm sorry.
Oh, like to say hi, you mean, or something?
Yeah, you remember there was a day I think the police, was it the
Oh,
police?
yes.
They went around and to just say hi to the people when,
Yes,
during
they
COVID. It was just so cool that my kids were just heartbroken that they didn't come to our neighborhood.
Oh, shoot. Okay. So we have a lot of cool things here that I wish we could do everything. And just because you don't pick things doesn't mean that it can't be. This is just kind of an exercise to see if you had to, because there's so many cool things and you can't do everything. So if you had to pick. So do you want to go put your green dots on and then we'll look and see where we ended up?
And it's kind of rough with only a few of us here.
And
I
only
know.
get 5
And
stickers.
only 3 dots. I know.
I think
Guys, if people don't come.
Well, they all are good though, and there's a lot of, I don't know, it's like,
There's a lot of places to
there's a
put
lot
a
of,
sticker.
and I think
I
there's
feel
a
like we
lot
should
of
have like another color sticker for
I know.
our sex
Yeah.
area 3.
You know what, and I usually do, and then I usually have red dots for something that you absolutely think should not be.
Number 1, number 2.
And if you want, you know what?
So definitely.
I do have red where you could use it as a second.
Yeah, me too.
I'm gonna do that.
So there's been progress to just.
right next to here.
Shoot, just a second.
Okay, this one I definitely need it back. It's
Am I
not
in
really
between? I'm gonna find my red ones.
That's not fair.
I can give you
George
one.
just
for
kept
second.
She's not.
I can give you mine.
I have one more. Here. I don't know where to put mine. The red is not, no, that's what yours is. Your red is number 2. You get 2. Does that make you feel good?
Right one and-
We can choose at the
Can
2
I
sets
slide into the
of
little
red.
pieces?
And red means, this is your second. Think of it as orange. Think of it as, like, if you had to, so you get 3, yes, I love this, and 2, this is my second. You get 2, number 2
I still don't understand this one.
Which one?
This one, because it's so kind of there, so we just.
Yeah,
That
we
one's already,
improve
that
it.
one's just like taking advantage of the.
Yeah,
momentum
that's
that's
why,
already-
that's what I didn't understand. That's why I said,
I
can
don't
we add things
so
to it?
let's
Because I don't
not-
understand what, it's already a thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's, let's,
let's add on to, let's just add on to that and make it, have ideas for that one. I don't
yes,
speak it.
but not, it doesn't have to be, this is the first weekend in August, and this is what we would do. You know, maybe, I don't know. I don't know, because you guys, I think that these ideas are really good, and this is sort of the different one. This is either specifically focused on American heritage. This is like a cultural heritage. Lots of dating all. This would be. Does
I'm putting one of mine here because it's.
Yeah, I'm so
Because it's-
confused by-
Yeah,
so
okay, what would you
intriguing.
like to do with it?
We-
What the heck is Welcome Week? Just River City Days and Night Unite?
No,
Like, what is it? Just,
it's nothing.
Three more.
It's absolutely nothing. We don't do welcome week. We
Oh,
don't, there is no
I thought it
welcome
was
week.
kind of part of the River City Days, so we were just trying
I
to
was just
improve
saying
it.
it could be, but
And
welcome
we
week
can
has,
take that momentum.
but it,
and
so
build
the
on
first
it.
week in August or not?
nope, it could just be an idea of.
So Welcome Week
Would be
could
something.
be changed to like a block party. But with all the same things that the River City Days and the Night Unite have. I'm so confused.
It's okay.
So it's like
so
we
my-
already have
it's
pizza
whatever-
ordered, so it's like saying the pizza's already coming, hey, you guys come over and we're gonna, bring games with.
So
Whatever.
is,
You know
okay,
what I
welcome week, let me ask one more question. Are we welcoming people who are moving into Red Wing, or who are we welcoming?
And that's the thing you could decide to, because you could welcome people who are only new to Red Wing, or you could say, because so many people have said, I've lived here for 2 years and I don't feel welcome.
I was born here and I'm 50
And
and
you
I
don't
still
feel
feel,
welcome.
I feel
So you
disconnected.
know what, what's
So
the,
it could
I think we
be-
should work on that.
Yeah.
I think we should work on that,
I do, yeah.
and make it
happen.
So we can do it a different.
So we need to work on that, yes, we want to work on that, we want it.
What is the base of it that you like? What is the base?
Celebrating different.
Each other, oh, diversity, so we're
Yeah,
diversity.
so celebrating diversity.
Oh,
I think it would be more down there.
But it's cultural heritage festival.
okay.
Okay,
No, that one is a.
Either like
That one is
popular vote,
Yeah.
yeah, or festival was so boring, so it's like.
Yeah, but
Party, would you like to be a party?
Yeah, like party, like hold down.
Yes, that Thomas's was, this would just focus on this, and this is more lots of.
I thought that was one seat, I put my.
Thomas,
That's why mine's in the middle.
But mine's supposed to be, I think I'd like to see how my African American first.
Okay.
Because I don't know
Is
much
that what
about
these
it.
three are? Okay.
So I would like to have mine up.
That third one is the middle. That's say I'm not making a decision.
And I think I'm looking forward.
Oh, this
Please
is
confuse that one.
This is sorry in the middle. Mine is.
wanted it in the middle.
Yeah.
It's a half.
Okay, you know what? You know where my heart is. I'm just thinking it would be nice to have something like that.
Well, it's possible that take away River City Days and maybe the city can just try to see, start having a conversation with the folks who are.
But it would be, well, this is,
I
but
think
that, because
that-
that's something happen anyway.
Right.
I mean, the inclusiveness stuff can happen.
Yeah,
Because we already have a tent, we've already spent, there's already a budget. There's a lot of our tax money that's going to there, so it's like, can we harness it,
Yeah, yeah.
you know?
there.
It can be fun, but it's kind of too sometimes. I mean, it's not, you know what I mean?
5
But it can be fun.
3 green, 2 red.
Yeah. Okay. And when you're putting that on there, Sam, are you thinking of River
Yeah.
City Days or are you thinking
Yeah.
of
I
a
know
period
what
of time?
A period of time.
Okay.
But I also still want to touch River City Days.
Okay.
Actually, yeah.
People like me to
I
ask
have
questions.
Okay.
I would like to have things added to this.
Oh, okay, good, good.
On here now.
That's great.
Maybe we could add it to there and left out there.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
One question.
Do you have a lot? Okay.
I like this. I like to improve that River City. Hey, I called my friends, come on, come, it's the River City Days.
Yes.
And all we did was watch basketball, and
Yeah.
wasn't that fun? So I really like to see on that.
Yeah.
And that time needs to be more fun.
I
Okay.
think your kids fall asleep.
Yeah, they play basketball and they're like, man, are we gonna be still
Because
here?
I have heard that, it's already happening.
No, I don't think that, why do we have to put time into that though? Why should that be us? Why can't the police officers just decide it again?
Oh, okay.
Didn't they decide it the first time?
Yeah.
It was
Yes.
recommended.
And we could
approved by
just, we could just
But I
forward,
think it's
we could just forward that we
a
have heard,
recommendation that we
heard
can have.
overall
Yeah.
overwhelming support for
Okay,
what
well
we're
then it
doing.
needs a dot.
But it doesn't necessarily need a
Okay.
dot, it could just
I
be,
understand.
but
So this, none of this will get mentioned if it doesn't have a dot, like this.
No, that's not
this
true.
could
No.
all, it can all be mentioned.
No, I think I would also, I
Just
probably should
level
have
of
had really read. If you don't think that something is a good idea, put a little X in the spot. Because honestly, if you don't think it is, like this team of trusted sources, blah, blah, blah.
What neighborhoods are
decided
getting
I'd
this
like
good
to-
program?
What happened?
What neighborhoods are getting it?
And that's the thing.
Every neighborhood?
That's the one
That's why people
Because I
said that
don't
was
like
my
that
question.
if we have to pick
Right.
and choose this.
Who gets it?
Yeah.
The people who step forward, which are
The
going to be
city
people
they
who
would
are
have
normally
to.
ask for help. So
Like my neighbor, like me, my neighborhood. Nobody wants, you know what I'm saying?
Right, and
Or there's
it's-
people like who refuse to ask for help, but I
But
Yeah, right. So I
I don't
think
know.
people were
That's-
saying, at
that's
least the other night was, or the last month was, we like this idea, but we don't want it just going to all the people who already do everything anyway, so we would want to sort of build up and, you know, have people feel confident and set this up so that it is helping, not just.
Because, and a lot of this stuff can, I mean, it's like,
And when you talked about the neighborhood want, because I know that there's something good you is doing, but it's not, and that's why I said, what is that? Would you have something,
like people don't.
but I think it's close. I can't remember the program. So they go in the neighborhood and they look at all the dilapidated homes, if your home really needs help outside, they'll write you to say, can you apply, and we'll give you a grant to make you. So that's why I was confused, what of that, they don't have a grant.
Right.
You could have it
And
on
we
there
kind
for
of
like,
had a video about that too.
get like a
neighbors helping
free
neighbors really
approval.
come in and help
Free,
out.
you do it.
So, yeah,
Use
so it
your
could be
own
something like that.
resources.
Michelle is really happening where I moved from, they had a day of caring, and the United Way there hosted it, and so then big businesses would put together teams, and then people would apply, they'd have applications out, it was nonprofits, but it could be and they would apply and say, I need landscaping done, and then the big businesses would have their team, and they would get assigned, okay, you're gonna go here and do the landscaping for them during this day, and then another business fed everyone lunch. So it was from 9 to noon you worked, and then there was a business that fed all the volunteers lunch. Has there been, no?
The only thing that was closest to called the Day of Caring.
Yeah, it could get bigger,
And we did it.
it could get bigger and expand to it.
And kids went all out on it.
Yeah.
trails.
Yeah, no, I get
Their
that.
day of
This could even
caring around
expand
the day
from
and,
that, if
you
you
know,
get so many
so
people.
that
I
everybody, so hundreds of kids went out. And
did.
it was a big deal, and that was really cool for 5 years.
Okay, so it was like the show
It's
was
only thing I
not.
can think of is
Was it
like
like
that, but
It was like
this
cold.
sounds really
Yeah, it was
cool.
like cold.
Yeah, I talked about it about it, but I didn't say
Something
it.
that
Yeah.
we could do together, but maybe if we could do a city too.
Oh,
Yeah, I think I saw a little bit of
Yeah.
So it wasn't like, it was like, you know what I mean?
Do you want to add that, or do you want that to?
I don't know, because that would make everyone upset with us.
So.
Yeah, we're done.
So did everybody is up there, okay, because they did it now, even though we did start late, so. Is there any, I'm, need to be the taskmaster, did everybody use up yours?
And can we just
Yes,
write on-
unless you have an exception of the
No,
third
I really think, I really think that
All these ideas are really good, but I think if everything should happen, then it'll be better.
I suppose if you-
But no, but I think it was
Phoebe, grandpa Phoebe. Wall. Option. There.
Oh, yeah,
You
okay.
got rid of the block, but if it was like a built, like one of the green shaders.
Vandalized grass, yes.
I was thinking of my ring, I noticed.
It's so beautiful, and then like,
Yeah.
Okay, so I was gonna quickly summarize what I kind of see here, just like really, really broad is, it's going around the teen center. The idea of a Heritage Fest, cultural heritage, something happening here. Expanding, so the idea of really expanding our events to be more inclusive. So that really is all of that. And then this Lift Up Leaders program has some potential of people liking that. Still, nobody has put bad, I mean,
They're all-
it was hard to decide, it sounds like,
Yes.
a little bit. So people, yeah.
I just have one last comment. I think that anywhere where we can add more diversity, where we could be more inclusive is super cool because that was mentioned a lot on all three of these, making changes and what can residents and government do.
Yeah.
I think all three of those boards had had that on there, so I think
I have had
those are very important.
many conversations around nonprofits knowing that they want more diversity in staff and on boards, but not having people applying. And so if there was like a training that the city could put together for nonprofits and boards to go to how do you make yourself more accepting for people to
How do you
apply?
advertise
Yeah.
too, that's,
And this is one,
A
two
lot
of
of
the,
companies actually, they're
getting
retraining,
people to realize the
like
resources that are
woman
here.
corporate offices, and they're retraining actually
This
how
is
to
like the
view
why,
this and how to deal
has
with it.
scholarships.
So it would be nice to.
and it's like,
Yeah.
and it has staff and it has facilities and it has, so it's like, that's a great, like some of the kids that answered mine were from the women, that's how I ran into them. But what sucks at the Y is it closes early because of, that's the reality. But a teen center would have, I mean, there's budgets, so it's like, okay, can we expand hours, expand scholarships, and just harness again the buildings that are there? Because like these kids are there till 8 and they're literally playing basketball until they're like, it's 8:30. And then they go outside and I watch them, because I'm there too, because I'm like, I'm there all night. And I just watch them sit on the curb and like, now what? And it's kind of like this, oh crap. And I like know that some of them are coming from pretty, I mean, because you hear them, they're coming from some pretty tough situations.
It could be an escape for kids to think of
Yeah,
other
but it's like
things
if
than
it
what
could
they're thinking.
expand or
We do need that.
Or like,
But otherwise expensive.
like, I was thinking too, could there be like an after 5 membership? But again, it's different. But like for the city, say, okay, we will pay for it. No, it's not a full membership. It's like from 5 to 8 memberships.
Yeah, so all
Because like
kids love
the
TikTok.
skiers are used to do cheap ones.
We can put it, yeah.
You know, it's like,
Yeah, no, I think that's.
TikTok.
because then the business people, the people who are going there that are paying full membership,
Not doing it.
wouldn't be inundated. The kids are in school anyway, so it's like, okay, can they be something where, or is,
But Chin Center?
you know,
You have?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I think
It's
that's
actually
somehow-
So yeah, this
$100.
idea doesn't have to be, we're gonna build a new.
but there's
structure,
also
you know.
cranky,
This is
I was
Yes,
talking
and
about
I told
that
Marco, I
thing
said,
too.
somebody
There's
needs
also
to
some
say,
cranky
you
old
know,
people there,
I just feel like I was almost tired.
which can turn off kids in a hurry. So it's like, is there a way to
You know,
somehow
you know,
have like a
it's
space
nice.
there that's a little more
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
safe, but then they still have access to stuff? I don't know. Or multiple,
You
like,
don't.
there's a
Who said?
passport or a passport.
I know.
No, these are really, really, really good. And we don't have to have all the answers here, but this at least focuses a little bit about what the next step would be. So, this is really good. So, I'm going to have someone at work help me type all this stuff up and put these, at least these top pieces in here, especially for the people who weren't here tonight.
Yeah, can we have them go too? Like maybe by email?
Mm-hmm. We could. Yeah. And it would be nice to have them have these notes so that, because that's why we kind of went through this to kind of see what other people are saying.
What the community, yeah, that's why we did the service to see what
And
the
I'll have
community
some
does.
more input, I think, because this,
I have
the
to
kids
go.
that gave me these
Oh, okay.
surveys, they're
Yeah.
all,
Yeah, look for you. I'm going to daycare, so
and they're
8:30 is after bedtime.
and they want to be involved.
Good, good. That is what we want. And I should tell, thank you, Sam.
Sorry, I just get up so early. I literally
Go.
wake my kids up at 4
Hey,
a.m.
take some,
Take them
take them on
and-
the tree.
Yeah, do you want?
Oh no, they don't need any chocolate, that's for sure.
Do you need
I
one?
was gonna say.
I'll just take one.
Just hide my brother.
Oh, you guys.
Yeah, take one. Okay, thanks.
Oh, I better grab one for each of them.
Yes. Oh, they're still laughing. What day is it?
It's like this momentum, I was thinking, why don't we start? She's taking these?
And then I will have to send her like,
Good night, everybody.
Good night. Good night.
Good night.
Thank
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Oh, it's so nice to be in a room with you.
I know. It's gonna be good.
Good night.
Sarah,
Yes.
we're gonna talk stuff
Okay.
sometime.
Sounds good.
I'll call you sometime.
Okay.
I'm just, once my job, I don't wish that it slows down, but once I can go to bed before 2 o'clock. That's what, and I'm waking up at 5:30, and I'm not, I really wanna, yeah, once my job slows down.
Where all are you selling? So up in the cities and here?
Yeah,
Oh my goodness.
Lake City, from Lake City, actually, my latest one, one owner to St. Cloud.
wow.
That
To
is
Rochester, to
so
Owatonna,
huge.
to Mankato, to Zimmerman. I love money.
That is a good incentive.
Yes, but I found out that it's a disaster. If I don't go, my father and mother died a long time ago, so I can't cry. If I cry, nothing happens. I have a headache. So I have to find ways of making ends meet. It's been kind of tough, but
Crying is very healthy.
I know I get headaches. It's not healthy for me. So I just, I'm kind of, I love my job, so I'm okay to drive, though I think I need to kind of slow down.
Yeah.
Maybe when I'm 50, I should just kind of slow down a little bit. My ears burn. And that's why I didn't attend the other time I had to have a procedure on my back. But I don't think it helped, because they still burn. Corey, do you work at the hospital?
No, I work at, my family has a little grocery store right across the street,
Code.
Copland's. It's like
In
right up-
there,
that
I
little
know.
one. Yeah,
I just
that's
went
my-
in there and bought
That's my little
some.
grocery store. It was my grandfather, and
uncle. It's been around for 151 years.
Oh, I'm going there. There's
But
there.
my family came here in 74 years ago.
Okay, I've been in there.
I don't know. I was like, oh my gosh. I don't know why they stayed in there for 74 years. It's so much work.
But it's something good.
But the customers are so nice.
They get good. They have good spices. I got cayenne and
I
stuff
love my
like
local
that.
customers.
I was so excited when I went in there and met one of the women that works there. Someone came in speaking Korean to her.
Oh, the Asian.
I know she was so, I love her.
Well, it's my husband is Korean, and so it's like there's something.
Really? Yes?
And she makes me the most amazing food. I love. She's like, oh, she brings me food all the time.
Oh,
What is
I
she-
met
And
her.
she does this spicy pork.
So I was gonna ask
I
you.
love-
Oh, no.
We're gonna go in a couple weeks.
On
we're gonna
this,
go up to a Korean
this guy,
market.
the many
Teen Center.
Do a little road trip.
We just went to the Korean market on yesterday. We went to, which one do you go to?
I don't know. I've never been to one.
Really? Thanks, you guys.
Thank you. Bye.
It's not saving money every night. And I went down, I said, I gotta follow it up, because I told my husband, I said, this is not, I can't quit my job to run a team center. But I told my husband is a little bit older than me, he needs to going on a lot of other stuff. And he's very good with kids, because when you do that, what you're gonna look into also, you're gonna have strong men and women who are able to get the kids in order, otherwise they will otherwise somebody the kids encourage them when you go there. It's not just like a team center way. They can also get their emotions.
Right.
And some of the kids will be running away from home. This will be their safe place to be, and kind of encourage them to get in college and stuff like that.
Yes, right.
They got the state was giving a grant on that.
Pretty recently?
Yes, I think if I'm not mistaken, it's still going until the end of June. So I was gonna have somebody write a grant and think about it, where the beauty is, you know.
Yeah, because those will continue to come up because, yeah, I think that's gonna probably be partnerships with the school district, or maybe not the school district, but philanthropy, city, other partners,
And
yeah.
I would like to partner. I don't mind partnering, putting in whatever I can. But I was gonna apply for that one, because we need it, and the money's there. And, you know, the state
I
has
would
been
look
looking
at
at
that,
that.
yeah.
People are not applying for this one. But they
Right.
use it right now. I think it's 100,000. I mean, it's not a lot.
Well, it's
But
actually
it's a
get
good
started,
start.
yeah, it is,
Yeah.
it is a good
So,
start.
and I'll send it to you, because it's, yeah.
Yeah, because we would need, yes, and actually, yes, because Mandy Arden, who does youth outreach too, she is looking at some different, I think, some options. I'm talking with her next week, and we do have some really good dedicated people. And then residents who, you know what I mean, would just give. It's a little bit of time, or,
I think people will volunteer, people will go there for,
yeah.
and that's what I was saying, I had one at the time to stop the ladder thing, maybe you could, go there.
Mhm,
To
mhm.
the stuff,
Yeah.
we could
Right.
have play center, we could have learning center, we could have the,
Right.
Yeah, I saw it, because I looked for it, I was just getting
Do you
tired
remember,
of.
was it state of Minnesota?
Minnesota.
Okay.
I have it in my email.
Do you, if you find it, will you forward it
Yeah.
to me?
I even did something to it, I started, so I can,
Okay.
and I called Michael, I said, Michael, I just found money, let's do this in Teen Center. And then my husband busy, so we haven't met.
Right,
since.
right.
But I know there's a grant out there.
Okay, it would be good to see that because you're right, there are monies available and you have to be sure at your city level community level, that you've got the foundation to do it, and I think that we do.
Yeah, because then, if we had a little push, then maybe it doesn't need to be there, it could be
Mhm.
somewhere in the middle, it could move.
Right,
because
right.
then there's a startup money.
Yes.
So what I don't know is, would that be a city thing, or who would apply for the grant?
Right, and so it could be a United Way, through United Way, it could be through Youth Outreach, it could be through, a nonprofit, but then with all these partners
Yeah.
that or they give matching grants or something, and we partner with one of our family philanthropic groups, so it could be, but you're right, like who actually does it, other people could help fill it out, but it may come through, I would think it would come through a nonprofit with city assistance, yeah.
So that's what I thought, and it could move
Yeah.
in line.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
so I'll send you that.
Yeah, no, it got all green. I got all
Because the kids are
greens.
talking too, like, there's nothing to do, I wanna
Right.
go,
Right.
Then we don't have to drive our
Do
kids
you want to
with.
take a few little things home?
take some chocolate for sure. I know chocolates, because I ate 2 already, I should not be eating 2 chocolates.
No. I'm gonna start cleaning up our little room.
And since, okay, so, I mean, I only have 15 minutes of the office hours.
Okay, what would we say on that? Can you, how many are you do you know if anybody else has called in? Can you see that or not?
No, it's just payroll.
Was this the first one?
Yeah.
If a, can you see that your family had something happen? Can you
Yeah,
just
but
say,
I had to say,
no,
it's okay. It's not enough to say it, that's what I said.
well, Brenda? I totally forgot. I totally forgot.
Yeah, I was distracted with kids.
I guess I didn't realize, I didn't know that, honey. I didn't realize you had something right at 8.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I could have, you know, just, I mean, totally just blame it on me and say, my mom has some last minute. She
Well,
had to
yeah,